Hello everybody, and this is the video where I really talk about how I feel about the patch. And I kind of had a lot of these opinions yesterday, but I really wanted to wait and have more time playing with these changes. And I've definitely seen a few things and noticed a few things that I'm glad I waited around to actually try out different subclasses, some of the ones that got nerfed, some of the weapons that got nerfed because of the Hungering Blade nerf that just messed with everything. So I'm super happy that I waited. The gameplay is going to be me using Grim Citizen and on my Blade Dancer, and then there's also going to be a Hawkmoon gameplay with me on my Blade Dancer. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first I want to talk about the good. We're gonna go from the good, the bad, then we're gonna go to the meh, we're gonna round it out. So the good. I really like the special ammo change. I was kind of unsure about it. I wasn't sure how it was gonna play out with everyone losing special when they die, obviously except unless you have a sidearm. And then the special ammo crate spawning every 60 seconds. I had no idea how this would play out. And it actually turns out that special ammo is pretty plentiful. No, you cannot run around and die and then have 5 ammo in your shotgun and then pick up another 5. You can't do that. But what you will find if you try and use a sniper or a fusion rifle or a shotgun, anything but a sidearm pretty much, you will find that special ammo crates spawn enough for you to be able to use your special a decent amount. And what I did notice when I was using a shotgun is that I could kind of just run in there, try and get as many kills as I can because I know I'm going to lose everything if I die. So it actually made me play a little bit more aggressively, which I found pretty interesting. So all in all, the special ammo change, at least in 6v6, I can't really speak about trials yet. That's a whole different monster. Even going into just regular elimination won't really tell me much. But for 6v6, I do like it. It's forcing people to use their primaries, and having people use their primaries is honestly amazing. I've had a lot of fun in the Crucible. More fun than I've had in a very long time. My KD is a lot better. I'm getting in actual interesting engagements instead of people just trying to run at me with a shotgun. And that has been really nice. I know some people could say that we're just taking people's special ammo away to force them to use primaries isn't the way to do it. And you might be very right. That might just kind of be a band-aid where it's like, well, we can't figure out how to get you guys to use your primaries, so we're just gonna take your ammo away. Could be very true, but what they have done, what Bungie has done, is they've made people use their primaries. I'm getting into primary fights, and that feels really freaking good. Another thing that I really like is the changes to hand cannons. So what they did with hand cannons is that they boosted their initial accuracy. So if you pace your shots, you're going to be feeling a lot more accurate than you have ever done because it is now back to year 1 accuracy. And this has been a huge change. I have noticed that, wow, I'm actually hitting things. Maybe I'm not bad at this game. Shots that I would have been missing for sure, I am hitting, and that feels really good. It feels nice to aim a weapon and shoot it and have that thing go where you are aiming. And I love what they did with hand cannons, where they reduced their effective range and made their drop-off happen faster. I love that, and I think that is what they should have done with hand cannons in the beginning. I don't think that you should be like, we need to reel in hand cannons, so let's bring some RNG to when you're shooting it. I don't think that was good at all. It doesn't feel good to shoot a gun and be aiming somewhere and have it not connect. It just is not a good feeling for the player. Well, now you can shoot your gun and you are going to be hitting those shots, especially if you are running with a Palindrome or a AS Luna. The guns that were really good are incredibly super duper duper good now. So I love that, and I love the fact that hand cannons seem to have this very specific range that they are good in. That's good, I like it. Now, I want to talk about Hungering Blade, because I wasn't really sure where to put this because it's kind of a nerf, but also kind of a buff. Now, hear me out. I was very not upset, but I was really unsure about Hungering Blade nerf and the Blink nerf and the Quick Draw nerf. I just didn't freaking understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. And still some things I'm definitely very confused about. But the Hungering Blade change can sometimes be a buff. So I hopped into the Crucible, I put on my Blade Dancer, and I just wanted to see how it felt. Now in 6v6, I think you'll find that Blade might actually be better than it was before, because what the change does with Hungering Blade, instead of it just triggering health regeneration, it instantly gives you back a chunk of health. So if you go in there to a group of 4 people and you slash someone, you get that chunk of health immediately. There's no waiting. You do it again, you get another chunk of health. So it's actually a lot easier to kill a bunch of people grouped up than it has been before with Blade. And it actually stops you getting short-stopped a lot in those situations. Now, I don't think it's going to be as good in Trials of Osiris or 3v3 because it's kind of unlikely that you're going to be in a situation where you are around all 3 people, and it's not going to benefit you as much there. But in 6v6 in a big group, it's really nice to just get that big chunk of health back. It allows you to actually survive in your super a little bit more, and also take away the fact that a lot of people do not have shotgun ammo. It's a lot easier to survive in Blade. So I just wanted to put this at the end of my good list because it's a nerf and it's also a buff. It depends in which situation you are in. I do want to try using it in Trials and see how it feels, but in 6v6 it did feel really nice to go into a group and know that if I get that hit, I get a big chunk of health back and I can survive. So I did like that change for that specific situation. Now, moving on to the bad. First of all, talking about the Hungering Blade change. Certain situations, definitely a nerf, definitely not great when the super is already very, very vulnerable. Now, another thing that is super bad about it is that by them nerfing Hungering Blade, they nerfed all regen stuff. Red Death, the Suros perk, Transfusion, Cauterize, all of these things do not work the way that they used to do. And they did say that they wanted to wait for feedback and see how these changes play out, see if they're good. In my opinion, you need to fix that as soon as possible because Red Death basically got nerfed. In a situation with Red Death, you're not a blade dancer, you're not going in there swinging around, you are shooting someone with a gun, and Red Death already is not the greatest weapon. That whole archetype is not in the greatest place, and then to have this change to the health regen, it's not good. We need to revert that as soon as possible. Bungle, please revert that to what it was if you can find a way to do it, because Red Death and Suros, those perks are not feeling as good as they did before this patch, and I actually was really enjoying Red Death before this patch, so please fix it. Now, another thing that I don't like is that sidearms get to keep all of their ammo when they die. So if you are using a sidearm and you're running around picking up ammo crates, you actually get to keep all of that, which is pretty crazy, especially if you're using a Trespasser, because the thing with Trespasser, the thing that makes Trespasser balanced is that when you get that perk and you're just mowing people down, you can't keep it up for very long because you don't have a ton of ammo within the Trespasser. You just don't have that much there. But with crates spawning every 60 seconds, there's pretty much a crate every time you die and come back, you can just stockpile your ammo and you can go on insane Trespasser sprees. So I don't know if Bungie has a way to make this possible, but if you could just die and then come back with the regular sidearm ammo that you start the game with, that will be good. So you can't hold on to this big surplus of ammo, because I'm not a huge fan of people having just unlimited sidearm ammo. You have to run out at some point. Now, another thing that actually has nothing to do with any changes that happened within the patch, but it's kind of an effect that has happened due to the patch. Grenade spam appears to be even worse. Stickies seem to be even more prevalent. And I personally believe that the reason that is the case is because now, when it comes to close quarters, people are like, I don't have my shotgun, what else do I have? Oh, I can equip sticky grenades. So now what people are doing, instead of running at you with a shotgun and a melee, they're running at you with sticky grenades. So not just sticky grenades, this is just with all ability spam in general. Grenades are way too prevalent, in my opinion, in Destiny. And I've been saying this for a long time. Even before the patch, it just seems to be a little bit more prevalent now. But I've been saying this for a long time. A lot of people did not agree with me. But I personally believe that you don't have a long enough cooldown on when you can throw a grenade. You can throw one like every 20 seconds, and that is insane. You basically have a grenade up for every single gunfight that you will get in, especially in a 3v3 situation. And I don't think that fights should be determined by grenades. Again, I'm all about the primary weapon focus. I know that Destiny has these really cool abilities, and I definitely don't want to take them away. I would just like a really small change, even if it's just a 10-second increase on when you get your melee or your super or your grenade or whatever. I just think there needs to be a slight adjustment to that, because right now it feels like I'm playing Mayhem all the time. And you couple that with exotics like Shinobus and Voidfang vestments and Armamentarium. People have so many grenades. And Lucky Raspberry, you die, you get a grenade. You get your grenade back. So there's so many grenades going on, and I don't think it's in the right place right now. I think a small adjustment would be really, really good, because now it is more noticeable than I think it's ever been. Also, I don't want to spend too long on these two things, but I don't understand the blink nerf. Pretty much everyone that I know who plays a class that has blink available to them does not use blink. They don't use blink. Bones of AO and Control Jump is a better movement mode for hunters, and just the swoopy swoop glidey glide is actually better to get around the map with Voidwalkers. So I know it's backed up by data somewhere, and this decision has been made by data, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if there's people on the forums that have been like, oh my god, blink is so crazy. But in my opinion, if you were going to take away the HUD of blink, when blink already wasn't in a good place, people were already not choosing to use blink, then it would have been good to give the recovery back or allow them to spam blink like they did in year one, but take away their HUD. I think that would have been fine. I don't think just a straight up nerf was necessary at all. Also, landfall. Landfall was not the problem with the Stormcaller. Ionic blink is the problem with Stormcaller. It allows them to just get around the map. It would have been a much better change, in my opinion, if you were to make it to where Ionic Blink, when you choose to use the Ionic Blink, it takes away more of your super than it currently does when you use the Blink. I think that would have made more sense. I'm sure there's someone out there who's like, oh my god, landfall is wrecking me, but for at least the lobbies that I am in and the people that I know, the people I play against, Ionic Blink and the distance of Thunderstrike was the problem, definitely not landfall. Now, there's something that I want to talk about that I'm not sure how I feel about, and I actually would really like you guys' opinion on these things, because I don't have a solidified opinion on these two things right now. The other things, I'm like, okay, blink, don't understand. Landfall, don't understand. I like the special change, I like the hand cannon change, I like the fact that more weapons are viable, and I like that a lot, it feels nice. I'm very sure about those opinions, and I don't know if they'll change that much. I don't personally think they will. But the quick draw nerf, first of all, that came out of left field, because I don't think anyone was ever really complaining about quick draw. But I will say, now that I've given it some thought and I've looked over a few things, I can understand the reason for changing quick draw and making it not as effective. And that would be, in my opinion, Ophidian Aspects were the only exotic you would use as a warlock. No one used anything else. It was like, Ophidian Aspects, that's all you use no matter what you're doing. That's not healthy for the game. Also, when it came to Blade Dancer, I would say most people picked Blade Dancer for quick draw. So they could be sniping and they could switch to their primary and finish somebody off if they hit a body shot. So I think most people went towards Blade Dancers specifically for quick draw because the super's kind of poopy and yeah. So I can understand that if you as a designer are like, okay, everyone who's playing Blade is just picking quick draw, they're not picking anything else. And they wanted to kind of reduce the effectiveness so people could think about picking something else in that talent grid. I understand that. I do understand that. I understand that Ophidian Aspects were the go-to exotic and they were like, want people to use different things. I understand it. The only problem is now, Blade Dancer specifically has had so many nerfs targeted at it that not many people are going to be playing Blade anymore, I don't think. Because the Blink nerf, that's super not good. We have the quick draw nerf, so now there's not really a whole lot of point using that. And you also have the Hungering Blade change, where people are either going to love that or hate that. For threes, I think you're going to hate it. I don't think it's going to be a good change for threes at all. So you're making this class who was already not in the greatest spot, and people just used it so they could use quick draw. You're making it kind of useless to a certain extent. Now, I wouldn't say it's the worst class in the world, but I don't really see a huge point in using blade anymore, if I'm perfectly honest. And by doing this quick draw change, I also feel like you're kind of killing snipers even more, because a lot of people chose to use the whole quick draw thing, so like I said, they could snipe and then quickly switch to a primary. Now, love that style or hate that style, that's kind of how sniping had become in this game. People would run around with their snipers and body shot you and then finish you off with a primary. And now it's already really difficult to snipe in this game because of the flinch on snipers, then also the special ammo change, and now quick draw is not as effective as it used to be. So I'm really unsure how I feel about that. I think in general they just need to make changes to Blade Dancer to actually make it a class that you would pick just because it's good and not because you're a sniper, not because you just want quick draw. So I think they just needed to just change Blade Dancer in general. Now, another thing as well, with the special ammo change and less people having special ammo, I feel like heavy ammo has become a little bit of a problem. Now, I can't really have a full fleshed out opinion on this because I definitely feel like I need to play it more. But if someone uses a heavy machine gun, it's kind of hard to get the heavy machine gun off them. You almost have to use a super to get it off of them, because before you could pick them off with a sniper or you could rush them with a shotgun and you could get it off of them. But now you don't have that kind of access to special ammo. It's a lot more difficult to get heavy ammo away from people. So that's something that I want to keep an eye on, and those two things, the quick draw nerf and also the special ammo and how that affects the heavy ammo in PvP, I would really like you guys' opinions on. Please do leave them in the comment section and let me know how you feel about them. I'm just super open to hearing how people feel about this patch in general, because it's definitely split a lot of people. For me, just without going into all these specific details, my overall feeling of the patch is that I am really enjoying it. It's making Crucible feel fun for me, and I haven't felt like that in quite a long time. I'm having interesting engagements with the primaries and not just having people ape at me, which is... it's refreshing, it's nice, it feels like I can play so much better and have such a better time now that it's about who has the better primary shot, and I love that. So overall, I love the patch. There are some things that I'm confused about, but I'm totally willing to hear the opposing opinions for any of these things, so please do leave your opinion in the comments section, guys. Also, we're super close to 300,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. When we hit it, I am going to be organizing giveaways, so I'm gonna have that running on the YouTube channel probably through like a month or something. I'm gonna organize what it is. I want to contact some of my sponsors and see what we can get for you guys, but I just want to make it all about giving back to you, because you have created this community and I love you guys very much. So I want to give back to you as much as I financially possibly can. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, leave your comments in the comment section about the patch in general, and I will speak to you awesome people later. Bye.